That £2,000 pay rise you just got? In 2026, for millions of people, it is mathematically possible to keep as little as 32 pence of every extra pound you earn, meaning the government quietly takes 68% of your raise. That 32p figure is the extreme end. It happens when universal credit is involved. But even if you're not on universal credit, there are tax cliffs where your pay rise gets shredded far more than most people expect. This isn't a mistake. This is the UK tax freeze and fiscal drag in the year 2026-27 tax year. And it's exactly why a £2,000 pay rise can turn into a much smaller take-home increase. And you'll start feeling it in your payslip as the new tax year begins on the 6th of April 2026. These traps are already built into the system, but they bite hardest as the 2026-27 tax year starts. Whether you earn 25k, 35k, £50,000 or £100,000, there is a danger zone waiting for you this year. And for millions of people, a pay rise is about to feel like a pay cut. In this video, I'm going to calculate exactly how much of your raise is being silently erased and show you one legal move plus the exact email to send to your employer that can stop the government taking a huge chunk of it, and in some cases, more than half. First, you need to understand the trick being played on you. It's called fiscal drag. What does fiscal drag actually do? The government has frozen the key income tax thresholds until April 2028. That means the personal allowance stays locked at £12,570. The high rate threshold stays cemented at £50,270. Think of it like this. You are standing on an escalator that is moving up. That escalator represents inflation and your career progression. But the tax thresholds, they're painted lines on the wall. They aren't moving. But if you just stand still, getting small pay rises just to match inflation, you eventually get pushed past those lines. You aren't getting richer in real terms, but on paper, you look richer to the HMRC. So they take a bigger slice of your income. In 2026, this effect is compounding. And if you don't know where the lines are, you are going to walk up straight into a trap. Even if you're nowhere near 50k right now, this next example matters because fiscal drag doesn't hit you suddenly. It hits you slowly, raise by raise, year by year, and most people don't realize what's happening until they've already over the line. Trap number 1. The £50,000 cliff. This is the most common trap, and the one that catches people completely off guard. The jump from 49k to £51,000. If you get a £2,000 raise, on the surface, that's a win. But this next part will take 2 minutes, and it explains why so many people feel confused after a pay rise. Let's follow the money through the 2026-27 tax system. Income tax. The first £1,270 of your raise is taxed at 20%. That's £254 gone. The remaining £730 is now in the high rate band at 40%. That's £292 gone. Total income tax, £546. And just to be clear, it's not your whole salary taxed at 40%. It's the amount above £50,270. National insurance. 8% in the main band, 2% above the upper limit. That removes another £116.20. If you have a student loan and you're on Plan 2, the government takes 9% of everything above the threshold. 9% of your £2,000 raise is £180. So, from your £2,000 raise, you've already lost £842.20p. You're handing over 42% of your pay rise immediately. Your £2,000 raise is now £1,158 in your pocket. But wait, if you have savings, it gets worse. The savings allowance hit. As a basic rate taxpayer, you get a £1,000 personal savings allowance. The moment you earn £1 over £50,270, that allowance is cut in half from £1,000 to £500. This only matters if you have savings outside an ISA, but a lot of people do right now. If you have £20,000 in savings earning 5%, that's £1,000 in interest. With a 49k salary, it's tax-free. With a 51k salary, your allowance drops. You get 40% tax on that £500, meaning you get a £200 tax bill. Triggered purely by crossing the line by even £1. Insane, right? So now your £1,158 take-home raise has dropped to £958. You've lost more than half your pay rise without doing anything wrong. Before we move on, if this already feels unfair, that's because it is. And the next traps catch people who think they're safe. Trap number 2, the universal credit trap. Now, I want to speak to people earning 30 to 40k. You might be thinking, I'm nowhere near £50,000, this doesn't apply to me. Don't relax yet. If you're a working family claiming universal credit for rent or childcare, this is when the maths turns brutal. Even if this isn't your situation today, this is exactly why pay rises feel worse as families grow. Universal credit has a 55% taper rate. For every £1 of income you earn after tax, your universal credit is reduced by 55 pence. Let's trace a £1 raise. Tax and national insurance take 28 pence immediately. You're left with 72p. Universal credit then claws back 55% of that. Another 40p gone. From that original £1, you keep 32p. That's an effective tax rate of 68%. A single parent working full-time on a £30,000 salary can face a higher marginal tax rate than a millionaire. Mind-blowing, right? This is one of the quietest killers of social mobility in the UK. Trap number 3, the family trap. If your adjusted net income sits between 60k and 80k and you have children, you're in the high income child benefit charge zone. For every £200 over £60,000, you repay 1% of your child benefit. With 2 kids, that clawback, stacked with 40% income tax and 2% national insurance, it can push your effective marginal rate above 50%. With 3 kids all combined with other withdrawals, it can climb into the 60% plus range. You are working harder, taking on more responsibility, and the system is actively punishing you for it. Here's an interactive check. Okay, I want you to pause this video. Check your latest payslip. Look for taxable pay. If you're trending towards £50,270 or £60,000, or you're on universal credit, you're in a trap, but you can get out of it. Here's the solution. The answer is not earning less. It's controlling your adjusted net income. The most powerful tool here is pension salary sacrifice. Instead of taking your £2,000 raise as cash and letting tax shred it into pieces, you tell your employer, don't pay this to me, pay it directly into my pension. Because the money never hits your bank account, therefore you get no income tax today, no national insurance today, your tax is paid later when rates are usually lower. Let's go back to the £51,000 example. You accept the raise, but sacrifice £2,000. Your taxable salary stays at 49k, you avoid 40% tax, you avoid extra national insurance. You don't avoid tax, you delay it until retirement, when most people are paying tax at a lower personal rate than they are during their working years. Here's the secret weapon most people miss. When you salary sacrifice, your employer also saves money. They don't pay employer national insurance on that £2,000. From April 2025, employer national insurance is 15%. That's a £300 saving for them. Some employers will share that saving, and it's absolutely worth asking. Here is the exact script that you can use. Hi boss, I'd like to salary sacrifice my upcoming pay rise. Since the company saves 15% on employer national insurance, I'd like to ask if those savings can be added to my pension contribution. There's no cost impact for the business, but it makes a big difference to my retirement. If they agree, your £2,000 raise becomes £2,300 in your pension. Compare that to the £958 you might have kept in cash. You've more than doubled the value of your pay rise just by changing where it gets paid. And once you see that difference, it's very hard to accept the default ever again. If that one tip just made you richer, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. I release videos like this every week to help you keep more of what you earn. Now let's talk about where to put your savings. The bridge. ISAs versus general investment accounts. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. I can't lock everything away until it's 57. That's fair. Your pension is for your 60s. Your ISA is your bridge for your 30s, 40s, and 50s. But here's the final warning for 2026. If you hold investments outside an ISA in a general investment account, you need to watch out. From April 2026, dividend tax rate is expected to rise. The basic rate from 8.75% to 10.75%. The higher rate will rise from 33.75% to 35.75%. And the dividend allowance is just £500. The strategy is simple. With a pension, use salary sacrifice to shave income out of danger zones. With an ISA, max the £20,000 allowance for flexibility. With a general investment account, only use it once your pension and ISA are full. The system is designed to make you feel like you're moving forward while quietly pulling you back. But you don't have to be a victim of fiscal drag. Here's your homework. Calculate your projected taxable income for April 2026. Identify any danger money crossing thresholds. Send that salary sacrifice email before April the 6th. This isn't just about saving tax. It's about looking at your pay rise and asking, do I want 40% of this to go to the treasury or 100% of it working for my family's future? It's a no-brainer what you should choose. Here's another video that will help you make the most of your income. It's called Why Avoiding Debt Keeps UK Workers Broke. In that video, I talk about the wrong type of debt to have, the biggest lies about debt, and how to use debt to build your wealth. Subscribe to this channel now and check out that next video.